So quiet.
So quiet.
We were just talking intensely, and then I was about to hit record, and then it just hit quiet.
Yes, we were waiting.
We were talking about
to
AI.
To talk to you.
Yeah, we were talking about AI.
Yes.
The big theme.
The big theme, yeah.
Under the big theme.
Under the big theme, yeah. No, but it's we had David Klajman come by as the last speaker at the event, and you could see there was a lot of people asking a lot of questions about applying AI. And I've been slightly skeptical, but I'm close to 50, old gray-haired man, so I should be skeptical. I mean, it's in my DNA.
I think there's a lot of skepticism. I mean, not just in the fundraising business, but in every business, because people are afraid for their jobs. Some people are.
Yeah.
So how does AI apply to fundraising in 2024?
I think it can be applied in so many ways. And what I liked about when I was talking to David initially was it wasn't a talk about AI, because you've heard that so many times, AI taking jobs, what does it do? And he came with a case. He's developed the tool that takes conversations, the black box of telephone fundraising, and converts the conversation into a script, applies AI reading of the scripts, and then you can ask a lot of questions to conversations. But, the big insight when he talked about it, they do like 1 million conversations or something in his company each year. And it costs money to transcribe and treat and everything. So they don't do it on all of them. But ideally, if you had the funding, you could analyze 1 million telephone calls with a little bit of AI code. And I think that's revolutionary and really interesting. And the reason why I can see the motive in developing this, because in some countries, not in the Nordic countries here in Europe, but in Anglo-Saxon countries and in France and maybe also in Spain, I think, there's this tradition of you do quality control of all calls, especially the agreements. You listen through afterwards to make sure it's done properly. And that means you have a lot of staff who sit and do quality control of those doing the calls. And using AI means you don't have to do that anymore. You can save all those hours, make it cheaper to do fundraising or spend more time talking to donors. So I think that's a brilliant idea. But in a nutshell, if you have to open a conversation with a GDPR question, the way you are asking for money, you should start with asking for 50 euros to start with and then go to 40, 30, You can have a script that analyzes all conversations and find this. And in this tool, which was really a neat thing, was if they ask for the right amount, if you're listening to the call afterwards, it'll just say you have to do that at 3 minutes and 41 seconds. And you just go into the call and you probably haven't tried this, but I have. If you have to go and listen for quality control, you have to listen to through the whole conversation, and you have to do that maybe 100 times during a day. And it's tedious and hard work. And what you lack there, and why I call it a little bit of a black box, the conversations, is it's hard to get good quantitative analysis of what works and what doesn't. A lot of knowledge in the telephone fundraising sector is what you call anecdotal. It's somebody who has experienced and done and learned, and this is my way of doing it. Somebody can do things successfully but do it differently because that's their method.
Yes.
But there's nobody who's gone through all these conversations and said statistically what is actually right and wrong, or where it doesn't matter which approach you
turn it into a meta-analysis, actually.
Exactly, yeah. So that's why I think for me it was very interesting, because it's not only about quality control AI, and that's where you can see different branches coming from this, it's also about learning best practice. How can you train other people in your call center? When you have a new caller coming in, learning to do telephone fundraising, there's a lot of nerves. They don't know what the right way, and you have somebody training them and being enthusiastic, and that's fine. But what you rarely see is somebody also showing some real hard facts on this is, if your conversation is more than 3 minutes, your probability of getting a yes will drop by 50% or something like that. And now, because of this transcripting technology and the AI, we can start to explore this together. And for me, mind-blowing, because you can train people, you can, as somebody running a campaign, you can look at trends. So the last year and a half, 2 years, with people having less money, you hear a lot of charities saying it's harder to raise funds, it's harder to recruit because people have less money. And I totally believe it. But the thing is, what are people saying in the phone? What's the trend? Is it because it's a cost of living, or is it they want to prepare for a worse future, or what's the conversation going on? And you can ask your telephone fundraisers, get feedback. But usually between the CEO and the big decision makers and that lonely caller having conversation, it's a long way of sharing that knowledge. And if you have AI technology, you can make that gap a lot smaller and get more fundraising intelligence out of it. So it has many applications, and some are probably not suitable for all, and some are. And I mean, that's the territory we're exploring. So based on, and sorry, Ulrik, I'm just chatting away here, but I'm getting enthusiastic.
Yeah, I'm
but,
just listening. It's very interesting.
So for the next event for the innovation in dialogue fundraising, we're going to bring in some other people talking about AI. And David has given us 10,000 conversations. One of my colleagues, Ed Lira, who's a professor in Groningen in Holland, will do a meta-analysis on objection handling, what works, what doesn't. And so we'll feed that into the next event as well.
But what is the perspective? I mean, would it, in the future, will it be possible for an AI to live assist a caller in objection handling? So
it already is.
Yeah, so but that's how it trains new callers. I mean, so just I need to understand it. So when you're calling someone up and the client have an objection, then the AI will come up with immediate suggestions as to how to handle that objection, that concrete objection.
That could be a potential application. What I've seen in the market right now is inbound calls where people call a telephone helpline or something like that. It is in use already. And in the old days, you had like a folder and you were like, what's the question? And then you got the prompts on the telephone. And then now you have the AI with suggestions and stuff. So that's on inbound calling. But a lot of fundraising, telephone fundraising techniques are outbound. That means it's not necessarily a customer you know, et cetera, and therefore that AI needs to be developed. I haven't seen it yet in application. So that's one thing, helping people, but it's also a post-conversation. So you finish your shift, you've got 5 hours, let's say you've done 100 calls, whatever. Watch the status of the day and what are your 3 main working points for tomorrow. Boom, 5 seconds, and you can give people this so they can continuously develop, and they're not depending on their fundraising coach of course, you should still do that, but you can help the process a lot, and you can start cooperating better in telephone fundraising.
Yes, because the AI can pinpoint your weaknesses instantly. Almost.
It can summarize
the same error here.
Yeah, or it can say you're doing really, really well here. And you've got algorithms now that can explore sentiment. So are people sad, excited, happy, depending on what they're saying. And I have this AI that records my online meetings. And then afterwards it gives me a summarization of how much am I speaking and how much, and I'm always doing really well. I'm winning. No, but it's
you're winning in speaking. Yes.
Speaking time. But it's not always that which is the main goal. And as we talked about with donor-centered communication, it's about listening to people, etc. So if you're a caller who does like 90% of the speaking in a 3-minute call, maybe you should be started, So it's like your development areas. But that depends on the questions you want to ask the AI to answer. And that's where we in Impact Talks have set up like a collab project inside the community. And we're basically going to kick it off with people being invited to a session. We'll be like, what would we be asking this black box about to be more clever using an AI. And then we've got Edlira, the professor, who will come and help us apply the algorithms and do the analytical stuff. And I don't know, maybe in 3 months, 6 months' time, we'll have a lot of best practices, but we'll also have explored a lot of territory about what are the things we don't know anything about. And how can we be better at connecting with donors? So it's really interesting. And I mean, intuitively, I don't like the idea, but I'm so much looking forward to Geronimo speak at the next session about them actually having AI talking to people, because where will that bring us? So, and you know, it's provocative, and that will be fun to see.
Yeah, the AI talking to people and calling up people. I mean, how far away are we from that reality? I mean, can a computer actually sound like a real person?
I saw it. So I saw another presentation Geronimo did, and he had a real life case, and the AI call sounded like a really nice human being. But then again, I must say the call was maybe a call you get with a potential donor 1 in 10,000, because it was a person who was very empathetic and let, I'd like to give, how do I give? Yeah. So it's also, you know, how complicated conversations can an AI actually do? Because, and this is really important, AI is an algorithm. It doesn't think. It's just statistical application of what's the most likely good thing to say in the next. So it'll be fun to see what Geronimo is going to bring us.
Exciting.
Yeah. So, I mean, another reason for signing up for June the 11th in Innovation and Dialogue Fundraising, and also joining the community, because let's explore AI together.
Yeah. Well, I think that would be a good place to end this session.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Ulrik, and come and join us. Bye.
Yeah, thank you.
Hello,